Today on Evolving Humans, insights on living an intuition-guided life. Welcome to Evolving Humans, the podcast for awakening souls. I'm your host, Julia Marie. Settle in and get ready for another spirited conversation. I thought I'd take a few moments to share some of the insights I've gained over the years I've spent living from the inside out, following the voice of my higher guidance to the best of my abilities, no matter the circumstances I encountered along the way. It's been a while since I've shared any of my personal story with you, so I thought I'd talk a little bit about intuition today and how it evolved in my own life. If you're not familiar with my awakening story, one of the things that happened during those first months was the appearance of a group of beings I could sense, but not see, who showed up in my living room and taught me how to live my life differently. Their teachings centered around 7 principles, and they told me that if I lived my life according to these principles, I would not need an external teacher. They were right. The principle that applies to our conversation today is this: as above, so below. The corollary to that, of course, is as below, so above. In other words, what exists in the non-material world has a form in the material world as well, and what is present in the material world is mirrored in the non-material plane. So what does that mean exactly? Keep in mind, the insight didn't come immediately. It arose after a considerable amount of contemplation on the subject. We are, in essence, a reflection of divine perfection. I worked quite a while to comprehend the reality that, as my invisible teachers pointed out, if I can understand the workings of my physical body, I could understand as well how all of creation works. I spent a lot of time thinking about that one, and what I'm sharing today is a result of that process. To begin, at the beginning, we're born with 5 physical senses: sight, hearing, taste, smell, touch. We explore and process our physical world using these senses, and we don't question for a moment the input we receive through them. We also have subtle senses. We can use these subtle senses to explore the non-physical world we are a part of. Some of you may be familiar with what is called the clairs, but I'll go ahead and give a brief list here. Clairvoyance, or spiritual sight, is often mistaken for imagination, but it works like our imagination on the same frequency. In other words, images appear in the mind's eye, but we're not seeing them with our physical eyes. Claircognizance, or spiritual knowing, is when you have those thoughts that drop in your mind and you can't explain how it came to you. Clairsentience, or clear feeling, is, in my experience, the most reliable of the subtle senses, and it's a great place to start if you want to begin to work with your subtle, or your soul senses, as I call them. I believe the subtle senses are our connection to the soul. As we strengthen that connection, we gain more access to the wisdom our soul carries. Clairaudience is clear hearing. You hear the words as they are spoken, but you're hearing them with your spiritual ears, not your physical ones. Clairalience is clear smelling, and clairgustance is the sense of spiritual taste. When you catch a whiff of cigarette smoke and no one is smoking around you, that's clairalience. If you find yourself with a taste of a familiar food on your tongue, say your mom's secret meatloaf recipe when you're talking to your friend about your mom and how she passed, that would be clairgustance. When working with developing mediums, I roll these two, clairalience and clairgustance, in with clairsentience, because all three are basically sensations in the body. If you're interested in developing your intuition, remember this. The more attention you place on your subtle senses and the input you receive from them, the stronger your connection to your higher wisdom becomes, especially as you learn to trust your ability to process that input. Eventually, you will become a multidimensional, multisensory perceiver and receiver. So what are some of the benefits if you decide to explore your unique intuitive connection? Well, adding your non-physical senses to your physical senses gives you basically an advantage of expanded awareness and access to additional input that can be very empowering. The more you turn within, the more you learn about yourself, and thus you can often gain a greater understanding of who you are. Your intuitive connection can add greater meaning and context to your life because you'll be looking at your circumstances from a different perspective, an expanded view. It helps when you're able to look at any situation and ask yourself, what is the lesson here? Instead of, why me? Another benefit you gain from exploring your intuitive connection is it can help you find or maintain your balance. You become more confident in your decision-making ability and often feel more centered as you navigate your world. If you happen to be a highly sensitive person, gaining confidence in your intuition can help you better discern what energy is yours and what is not. When you find yourself feeling drained or down, ask yourself this question: is this my stuff or someone else's stuff? And here's a tip for you. To help keep your energy clear, every time you finish an encounter with someone, especially if you feel depleted, just do this. Take a breath. Maybe close your eyes if you can. Mentally send back to them all of their energy with love and gratitude, and call back to yourself all of your energy. For as a highly sensitive person, you have a natural tendency to absorb what's not yours. But you also, let's just say, might be prone to overgiving. And the best energy for you is not somebody else's. It's your own. The same applies also to the other person you were engaged with. The best energy for them is their energy. One last benefit I want to mention here, and there are more than the few I've listed, is that your creativity is often heightened and you're more inspired when you're actively using your intuition on a daily basis. I've told you about my perspective when it comes to intuition, to those subtle senses and your connection to your soul, and I shared some of the benefits of being more active intuitively. Now I'd like to tell you one of the best things you can do to improve your intuitive connection. And no, I'm not going to tell you to practice. I'm going to tell you to practice good personal energy maintenance. Frankly, the most helpful things you can do to strengthen your intuitive connection are not directly related to any exercises or practice sessions. How to manage your energy, both physical and subtle, has a greater impact on your spiritual connection to higher vibrations than pretty much anything else you can do. And I say this a lot, but it bears repeating. We are bioelectric beings. We are made up mostly of energy, not matter, no matter how solid we may feel that we are. In reality, we are more than 99% energy and less than 1% matter, even though we appear solid. Quantum physics is giving us a new way of seeing ourselves. Everything is energy. We are, as with everything else in this material world, primarily energy held together with a little bit of matter as the glue, so to speak. And we talk about ourselves in terms of energy all the time, often without even noticing that's what we're doing. Here are some examples of what I'm talking about here. Someone says, I just didn't have the energy to finish, or the energy in this room is fantastic. Or maybe, her energy felt off and I don't know why. You might find yourself feeling drained at the end of a workday, or perhaps, someone who seems to drain you whenever you're around them. One thing you can do every day is monitor the state of your energy. Take a moment to pause, close your eyes, and scan your body with your awareness. Ask your body to signal where there is pain or tightness. That's a sign the energy is stuck in those areas. And in the places you're feeling relaxed and open, well, the energy's flowing. And by the way, to clear yourself when you're feeling tense like that, again, take a moment, close your eyes, and breathe. Breathe in through your nose, breathe in light and relaxation. And when you exhale, exhale anything that's not in harmony with light and relaxation. Maybe you even use your intention to send that light and relaxation specifically to those areas where you felt the tightness or the pain. Just take a few moments to do that and you'll find yourself more balanced. Then scan your body to see how it feels. And remember, it's not only your environment or people in your life who can change your energy for the better or bring it down. It's helpful if you practice grounding your energy bodies on a regular basis. If you're not familiar with that process, I have a free 10-minute grounding meditation posted on my website. Go to juliamarie.us and click on the freebie tab to access it. Once you're familiar with the steps, you can take a few minutes to do this every morning and to reconnect if you find yourself out of sorts or off balance during the day. For your physical body grounding needs, I always suggest people check out earthing.com and Clint Ober's work on the impact of grounding. It has such a positive effect on the health of your physical body, especially when it comes to inflammatory conditions. He is the original pioneer of this science, and I've been using his products for years myself, and I have derived a lot of benefit from them, which is the reason why I'm mentioning him to you here. So what can you do when it seems your intuition isn't working? Well, number one, it's not going to be right 100% of the time. There are a lot of factors involved in when our intuition might go a little haywire, but for the most part, it is a reliable source that we need to learn to be able to trust more. Again, what can you do when it seems it isn't working? Well, for starters, don't worry about whether you got something right or not. When you're working with your intuition, remind yourself constantly there is no right or wrong here. There are only lessons for you to learn about how your intuitive connection works. Sometimes we receive guidance and we follow it, but the result is not what we anticipated, or we're blocked from moving forward. You weren't wrong. It's possible there's a timing element in play here. Often the universe will slow us down or speed things up so that we end up exactly where we need to be when we need to be there. Don't beat yourself up. Just keep trying. And don't be afraid of missing something important. If there's an experience you're meant to have for your soul's growth, trust me, the universe will bring it around again, So just keep paying attention. And self-reflection is an important part of this process too that probably doesn't get talked about a lot. But the more conscious you are of your beliefs, thoughts, and emotions around any given situation or circumstance, the more you'll be able to identify how you might be getting in the way of a clear, intuitive message. Yes, you have intuition. Yes, you are hardwired to receive higher wisdom. But those intuitive signals have to travel through your filters as it hits your energy field. So knowing your biases or limiting beliefs will help you manage them. And you can take steps to clear them if you choose to live a more intuition-guided life. There are plenty of energy modalities out there now to help us address our limiting beliefs or negative thoughts. Emotional freedom technique is one of the quickest and easiest ones to use, but there are others as well. It's best if you don't try to discern for yourself if you're in a distressed state or feeling pressured to make a decision. Wait until you're feeling more balanced before you access your intuition on your own behalf. A lower vibrational state, or fear, or doubt can all have a negative impact on your ability to properly perceive the signals the universe is constantly sending you. Knowing this and being aware of whether you're fearful of the outcome or are doubting yourself will help you get better results. And perhaps will let you know this is the time you need to seek out a trusted friend who also has some intuitive chops to help you get clarity on your situation. Before I close this episode, I'd like to touch on a few more choices you can make that will improve how your intuition works. Remember, it's all about vibration, and there's a lot that affects our vibration in negative ways these days. Probably one of the biggest is the food you eat, for example. The cleaner you eat, the less junk food, the better. Look at your physical body as the receiving station, the antenna that picks up the signals from the universe. Anything that lowers your vibration interferes with your receptivity. Am I telling you you have to become a vegan or a vegetarian? No. I'm going to encourage you to eat cleaner food. In other words, organic if you can, and less junk food. Because the bottom line is, better food, better reception. And your relationship with your tech also has a major impact on how you process intuitive information. The less involved you are with your tech, the better, but if you are one who has to be connected to it a lot, try to filter out what it is you allow into your awareness. Violent video games or other similar content does have a negative impact on you. Bottom line is, you get to choose which world means more to you, this physical world of technology or the world of spirit. And don't forget about the company you keep either. People also can affect our vibration, and we need to remain aware of whether that's a positive impact or a negative one. Again, you choose which world means more to you. But here's what I know. If you surround yourself with people that are vibrating at or maybe a little bit higher than you, number one, that helps you keep your vibration maintained where it needs to be. And if you're able to resonate in harmony with somebody who's got a solid higher vibration, they can actually lift you up vibrationally through the process of sympathetic resonance. And all you have to do is be in their energy field to derive that benefit. I've had it happen to me more than once, and I've been very grateful for all of those opportunities. We're living in a powerful time of transition right now, globally speaking, and I want you to have all the tools possible in your spiritual toolbox. I've been teaching spiritual seekers about their intuition for almost 2 decades, and I recently upgraded and expanded my most popular course, The Intuitive Advantage: How to Go from Cautious to Confident in 6 weeks. The first presentation of this material is coming in March 2025, and if you're interested in exploring your intuitive connection, you can leave a message with your contact information by clicking the link at the top of the show notes or sending a quick email to me at juliamarie.us. My goal is to empower you to live a more aligned life, a life aligned with the energy of your soul. And if you found value here, please share it with 2 other people so that together we can bring more light to this world. Now, what did I talk to you about today? I told you a little about intuition. I told you you have a set of senses available to you that operate just as smoothly as your physical senses, except when you call them into question. So we are our own worst enemy when it comes to clear, intuitive input. Find other people also interested in this topic and gather with them. Talk with them about your challenges or your excitement with your intuitive experiences. Maybe take some time to take a look at your diet and how you interact with technology and make some better choices for yourself, especially if you want to expand your awareness and change how you function in the world by adding intuition to your repertoire. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your support, and I will continue to seek ways to bring you great content. Well, that's our time for today. If you need clarity about a current life situation, want some energy healing, or wish to connect with your loved ones living on the other side of life, please go to my website at juliamarie.us and click the Book Now button on the homepage. And now, here's a quote for you to ponder as you go about your day. Your intuition knows what to do. The trick is getting your head to shut up so you can hear. Louise Smith.